Hey guys, so great you are back again. Behavior strategies for class. And today we're talking about tools that you can use for behavior challenges that you have with your students. There's some tangible tools that you can use as a class, as a whole, or individual tools that help those students who are struggling. So listen in. And before we get started, I want to let you know that there is a free download. It is a PDF of an example of a behavior goal sheet. And you can get that download by clicking the link that is in the show notes today. Welcome to Behavior Strategies for Class. I am Diane Bachman, your behavior paraprofessional with over 15 years of experience working in special education. And I'm so glad you're here because I'll be teaching you about social emotional learning, behavior strategies, trauma-informed care, and more. So if you are tired of being frustrated and not knowing what to do with your students who have challenging and disruptive behavior, you're in the right place. Now, if you're ready to become more equipped to help your students learn and grow, let's listen in to today's episode. A reminder, if you have not done so yet, please hit that subscribe button. Also, leave a review wherever you're listening, and don't forget to share this episode with other educators. Sorry, one more thing too is be on the lookout for pre-sale for the Behavior Pro course that I am still working on and trying to get those finishing touches on there. So some tools that we have used with our students are the fidgets, which I know are not always favorites with the teachers, but those have been helpful. The ruler, the mood meter. Each of our classrooms have a poster hanging up, and it's like a color wheel is what it looks like, or it's like a giant square, and inside this square there's 4 boxes, and they're different colors, and they stand for different feelings of emotions. So like the red, you're definitely angry, you're frustrated, sometimes you're raging, you're mad. Blue is usually when you're sad, you're depressed, you're just feeling blah. And then green is where you're chill, you're content. And then yellow, of course, is happy, you're excited. So they have all of these emotions, and so we use it as a tool. So when they can't really get the words out of how they're feeling, we will usually take them over to the mood meter and just have them point. Some of them have descriptive words in there for them to use. Some of them is just a color. It just depends on the age level and how they, whatever they can read or not read. So, but that has been a good tool as well, the mood meter by Ruler. And then in the behavior program, each of our students has a behavior chart, which is also technically like their behavior goals. And those are from their IEPs and what they need to work on. And as they succeed in achieving those goals, then we kind of regroup and see, okay, where's the next area that needs some growth? And so then we change their goals throughout the year, depending on how they're doing and just seeing how they've grown, or maybe they're still stuck in this one behavior, and so that stays on all year, and that's okay because we know this is something that we have to continue to work on and encourage them in that way. So those are a few of the tools that we have used as a class. One other way is when they've made their goal for the day, so they earn points as they work through this goal sheet, and if they get 80% of their goal, then they earn points in our room. And then the end of the week, they use those points in our store in the classroom. And so that's another way that the behavior goal kind of motivates them as well, that goal sheet. And that goes with them all day. And that's how they earn those points all throughout the day in the different classes that they're in. So I'm going to go over 7 tangible ways, tangible tools that you can use for those challenging behaviors. Now, some of these tools are for your class as a whole in motivating them, because sometimes if that one student who is just acting up, just to act up, getting them on the road to the right behavior is when the whole class is earning something. So then the whole class is kind of that little nudging on that student to remind them like, hey, we're working towards a pizza party, or, a pajama day, or a, bring your stuffed animal, or bring your favorite game, or hat day, or whatever it is that your class has decided on. That really encourages the whole class to work together. So, but I'm going to start with number 1, which is the fidgets. And so we always say they are not toys, they are tools. And granted, yes, a lot of the time they can become a distraction, and all they want to do is mess around with the fidget and not pay attention to what they need to do or do their writing or whatever. So it is a constant, and the teachers are definitely in agreement with us and reminding the students, like, if you're not going to use it as a tool, it will be taken away. But I have seen it work really well. And even though it may seem like the student isn't listening, I've seen students answer back exactly what the teacher was talking about, or exactly what the next directions were. So it's as you get to know your students, and is that fidget really going to be helping them? And you may try it for a while and then realize, okay, yeah, it is turning into a toy now. We're going to stop doing that. Or maybe they just need a different kind of fidget, because, there's all kinds of different sensory fidgets that you can use. And so we have a whole basket full, and I know a lot of the teachers, you guys already have a basket full as well in your class. So it's really maybe sometimes just finding the right fidget for that student, especially if you know that some students are going to use it as a weapon and instead of as a tool. So you just obviously want to be on the lookout and check with your students. And, really for the most part, they're totally honest, because we have asked some of our students, like, are you using this as a tool or as a toy? And of course, they just look at you like, well, yeah, okay. So you're using it as a toy, so we're going to have to take this away now, for a while, or maybe forever. Sometimes they just forget about it, and so it's done, and that's okay. Like, they don't need it. We're definitely not going to force a student to use it if they don't need it. But I have seen it be successful. So I would say, if you're willing, that sometimes for your students, those are good behavior tools to get them focused on something else instead of fidgeting with their pencil or their papers or inside their desk or picking their nose constantly or whatever it is, getting them to use something a little more useful than those things. Number 2, this is alternate seating. So I know that sounds like pretty easy, but it really is a great tool, because again, as you're getting to know your students, who are the chatty ones, who are the ones that are going to fight and argue all the time. And so sometimes it's just moving proximity. Where's the best place that they need to be in your classroom? Also, we've talked about those wiggle seats, and it's a big plastic. They blow them up. They're full of air, but they also have like sensory on them where they're kind of like little bumps on them. And they come in like a big round circle for the chairs, or some are in like a wedge in the chair. And those have been really helpful as well. I've seen students use those. And then that's just kind of fidgeting in their chair. So they're not getting up, they're not walking around, they're not doing something else, but they are moving around in their seat, but they're still able to focus and hear you. And you can just ask them, while they're sitting there kind of fidgeting around in their seat, ask them what you just said and just check with them, are they really getting it? Or are they spacing out and just enjoying their wiggle seat too much? Really a lot of it is a trial and error, trying out what's going to work best for your student to help them succeed and have that right behavior so that they're not distracting themselves and their neighbors and you. And so, like I said, it's a trial and error and finding out what's going to work best for your student to help them be successful in your class. And other things I've seen where we've like taped like some sensory papers or cloth or something on top of a desk. And so they just have it right there and they can use it right there at the desk. Another sensory is and this is from your OT, it's a big rubber band that goes around the bottom of the chairs, and kids can mess around with their feet with that. So again, it's your really noise tolerance in a way, because some of those things are noisy, but also seeing what's going to work for your student. I've also seen teachers have different types of chairs in their class. There's OT also has like rocking chairs that some students have used, and that's been helpful. The big exercise balls, students have used those as well. Those are definitely a lot more fun to sit on. So some teachers have had students earn the time to use those and then only use them for a certain amount of time during the day. So it's not a constant alternate seating, but like a reward for their behavior and giving them a set amount of time on that. Because that, I think, is definitely very distracting and way too tempting to, lay on it, bounce on it, all those other fun things. And obviously, that's not going to be helpful as they're learning. And number 3, another tool teachers have used is a behavior chart. And this is for your whole class. Some of them have clips, and so they get to clip up if their behavior has been well and they've made good choices. And then sometimes they have to clip down when they have not made the best choices. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed review on that, because sometimes like kids, they don't care. They just don't care. If they clip up, they clip down, they don't care. It doesn't make a difference. Other times, other students, they are so upset when they have to clip down. And other students, they're excited when they get to clip up. It's kind of all over the place as far as how beneficial it really is in teaching or reinforcing that positive behavior. But it's definitely worth a try. And maybe you use it already and it does work for you, and that's great. Number 4 is a behavior goal sheet. So this would be an individual goal, behavior goal. So like I said, the behavior chart is like for your whole class, but a behavior goal sheet is an individual thing. So it's for those students who maybe have more challenging behavior than just your whole class listening and following directions. So you have a couple outliers over here who are struggling a little bit more than the rest of the class. And so getting them on a behavior goal sheet will really motivate them and just give them reminders and accountability on their behavior. And like I said, most of those we've used are goals from their IEP. Sometimes we have students who are not on an IEP and they still use a behavior sheet. And, that's a discussion with them as well. Like, so what do we need to be working on, buddy? And, for the most part, the kids know. They know when they're struggling or when they're not making good choices. And so, some of them, well, I'm shouting out all the time. Or, I keep interrupting you. Or I keep yelling at Susie, or whatever it is. Being able to work with them on that and figure out what is the goal that we want to work on. And that could be just a weekly goal. And seeing how they do that week on that goal. And if they are able to kind of hang out with that one, then you could add a different one on top of that one. Or once they get that one goal down pat and you feel comfortable and they feel comfortable, then move on to, maybe 2 new goals. That is something that is changing just as much as your student is changing, or it's not. So again, it's knowing your students, seeing how they're progressing, or maybe seeing where they're struggling and really focusing in on that by using a behavior goal sheet. Now, I said earlier that I made a PDF of an example of a behavior goal sheet, and I put a lot of different samples on there on how you can do it. I just used 2 different goals. And the way that you can score them is, there's lots of different options. And I put those on that sample. Like you can do stars, you can do stickers, you can do points, you can do smiley faces, you can do, just wording on there. It's really, really goes by like the age of your student. And, you can obviously do more than 2 goals, or you could only do 1, whatever it is that's going to work best for your student. And so you can get that free download example of a behavior goal sheet by going to the show notes and getting that link on there. Number 5 is a self-reflection sheet or a think sheet. This is a great behavior tool because it really does help them to become more self-aware of their behavior. And it gives them time to really take a minute and think about it. Hence the think sheet. And I've seen think sheets where they write, what they did, how it affected whoever it was, and how do you think that made them feel? And then what can I do differently next time? And then if you desire them to apologize, and usually a copy of that goes home and parents have to sign it. So then the parents can help as well, holding their student accountable and reminding them of the changes that they need to do in their behavior so they're not hurting themselves and hurting anybody else. So those are really great. Think sheets, I think, are usually for the younger ones. Maybe self-reflection, is for the older kids, maybe middle, high school. Maybe you guys still use that. I really don't know because, like I said, I'm only in elementary schools. But the think sheets do work because when they realize that the accountability is going home to mom or dad or whoever the guardian is, usually, of course, they're not happy about that. Number 6, another behavior tool for the class as a whole is marble jars. I've seen classes, they earn marbles. Everybody's turned in their homework on time. Everybody has their supplies that they need. Everybody's, followed the directions. Everybody's, doing the work that they're supposed to be, and they can get, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 marbles at once. And then once the jar is full, then they have a special day. And like I said, that becomes like pajama day or bring a stuffed animal to school day or whatever it is your class has decided on. It makes them excited and know that they together as a class has worked towards this goal. And another class tool for behaviors is dojo points. Not every teacher uses them, but some of them do, and those are individual points, or those can also be class points. And then whatever it is you've decided as a class, what are they earning? What are they going for? So those are kind of the PBIS, that positive reinforcement for that positive behavior, and they get to see it and work together as a class to earn that. Or if you need to have more individualized behavior tools, you have those fidgets, alternating seating, behavior goal sheets, think sheets. So these are 7 examples of behavior tools that you can use starting today and help your students have more positive behavior. Because the more positive behavior they have, the more attuned they are going to be into learning and concentrating and focusing on you and what they need to be doing in order to succeed and grow in your class this year. So hopefully some of these have helped you. I'm sure some of you are already doing some of these. And if not, try some different ones. Like I said, it's really trial and error on what works for your students and your class. So I want to remind you, we can't expect your students to behave a certain way if they really have not been taught. And I know sometimes we make that big assumption, like they really should know better. They really should know this by now. And sometimes, honestly, they should. But that's not the truth, So family time it's just not always that way. And so they don't know, really some common sense behaviors or even those social skills. And so a lot of this behavior, is the social skills and learning how to get along and work as a team and work individually and how to grow and succeed individually and to celebrate those small steps that they make each and every day or each and every week. And having these tools for you to help your students in their behavior challenges is going to help them learn and grow and be successful this year. All right, don't forget, check the show notes for the free download of the example behavior goal sheet that you can start using today. All right, thanks so much, guys. Thanks so much for listening. I truly appreciate your support. And if I have encouraged you, motivated you to continue to learn, to support your students, even better, to help them strive in your classroom, please leave a review, hit that subscribe button so that others can see they can learn and grow here as well. Thank you.